With careful steps, Yiwu approached Yunfei, his sister, who now looked even more helpless. The paleness of Yunfei's face and the dark circles under her eyes were striking, clear signs that the deadly poison from the ghost eye demon spider was taking its toll on her. Upon noticing Yiwu next to her, Yunfei asked in a barely audible whisper, "How did you get out of bed, brother?" Even as she struggled to speak through her persistent cough, clear concern shone in her eyes. With a gentle tone, Yiwu responded, "Don't worry, I'm feeling better. Don't push yourself to speak, it might worsen your condition." Not far from them, the doctor who had witnessed Yiwu now stood in utter amazement, almost unable to believe his own eyes. As far as he could remember, Yiwu had previously been in a critical condition with various injuries and poison coursing through his body. With a shocked expression, the doctor asked, "Has the deadly poison's effect in your body worn off? How did you recover so quickly?" As Yiwu walked toward the doctor, he thought that the reason behind his recovery wasn't what mattered most. What truly mattered was that he was now well and no longer needed further treatment. However, 3 of his family members were still in critical condition, requiring intensive care. With concern etched on his face, he asked the doctor how much will their treatment cost. The doctor informed him that the cost was 300,000. However, he couldn't believe what was happening to Yiwu. There must be something off with the boy. The rate at which Yiwu was healing was highly unusual. Even though he was only at level 3, his healing speed was faster than any level 60 he had ever seen. Despite the huge amount, Yiwu agreed. "All right, please treat them first," he said, shaking hands with the doctor. "I promise I'll gather the money within an hour." Although the doctor seemed doubtful, he gave Yiwu a chance. After leaving the hospital, Yiwu hurriedly made his way to a nearby park. The sky was starting to dim as the sun set on the horizon. He found a bench and sat down amidst the hustle and bustle of passersby. Deeply engrossed in thought about how to raise money quickly, he realized that his savings wouldn't be nearly enough, and the 15,000 he earned from defeating the ghost eye demon spider was still a far cry from the 300,000 he needed. It dawned on him that the quickest solution would be to sell some of his items and equipment. He tapped on an option in the system panel, revealing that the most valuable item he had was the magic crystal of level 15. He was hoping to fetch a good price for it, enough to cover the 300,000 he needed for his hospital bills. Now, he faced another dilemma. Yiwu wasn't sure where to sell this item. While the auction house might offer a reasonable price, the auctioning process could be time-consuming and would likely not be completed within an hour. Additionally, there were level restrictions for sellers, and at level 3, he simply didn't qualify. It seemed he was left with just one option, a place where there were no stringent rules regarding seller levels and where he could quickly secure cash for his item: the black market. Yiwu quickly made his way to the black market, where he planned to sell a rare magic crystal of level 15 that he possessed. Cloaked in a robe that concealed him fully, he navigated through the narrow, run-down streets, heading towards the black market located in the 9th security zone. This zone happened to be Yiwu's current residence. In no time, Yiwu arrived at the entrance of the black market. 2 guards stood firmly at the gates, ensuring the market's secrecy remained intact. One of the guards, marked by a scar on his face, was enjoying a cigarette when he spotted Yiwu approaching. He paused, still holding onto his cigarette, and confronted him. "What's your business here? This isn't a playground." The other guard, adorned with large earrings, eyed Yiwu skeptically. "You know of this place and still dare to enter?" he questioned suspiciously. Calmly, Yiwu responded, "I have my reasons for coming. Isn't everyone allowed to trade freely here?" The scar-faced guard looked unconvinced. "We don't cater to children's games here," he remarked, hinting at Yiwu to leave. However, Yiwu remained persistent. "I'm here to sell something of value," he asserted, hoping to be granted entry. Growing increasingly impatient, the guard with the large earrings grabbed Yiwu's robe. "What valuable item could someone like you possibly have?" he sneered. An elderly man with snowy white hair emerged from the shadowy entrance of the black market. As one of his guards held the door open, he strode out confidently, indicating that the rumors about the young man were indeed true. They called the old man elderly. Surrounded by an entourage of bodyguards, he commanded respect. Radiating authority, he proclaimed, "The black market is always open for business. We seek profit. As long as there's value, we're ready to trade." Fixing a stern gaze on the young man before him, Elder Lee said in a deep, resonant voice, "Show me what you've brought, and let's see if it can catch my eye." With assured grace, Yiwu removed his cloak to reveal a prized possession. "I'm not sure if you're familiar with this," he said, holding out the item for Elder Lee to see, "but does it warrant your attention?" In his hand shimmered a hexagonal magic crystal, radiating a mesmerizing light with a powerful energy aura surrounding it. Elder Lee's eyes widened in recognition. realizing that the crystal Yiwu held wasn't just any crystal. It was a rare level magic crystal. Elder Lee was taken aback when he discovered that Yiwu, a mere level 3 novice, had access to something so exclusive. "We need to discuss this matter," Elder Lee said gravely. Upon Elder Lee's command, his guard promptly ushered Yiwu inside. The guard swiftly opened the imposing doors that led into the black market. Entering for the first time, Yiwu was captivated by the atmosphere of the black market. It was only after stepping inside that he realized it bore a striking resemblance to a bar, serving both as an information hub and a place of entertainment. What immediately caught his eye were the elegantly dressed waitresses in cat-themed cosplay, attending to guests with alluring charm. One of them even tried to flirt with Yiwu, making the young man somewhat uneasy. As he surveyed the area, Yiwu recognized a cunning strategy employed by the black market's owner, creating an intoxicating ambience that ensures buyers truly indulge and lose themselves in the pleasures of entertainment. On his way to Elder Lee's chamber, Yiwu was abruptly stopped by a portly man grabbing his shoulder. Beside him stood another figure, brandishing a claw-like weapon and sporting an unusually long tongue. "Hand over your valuables." The man with the claw snarled at Yiwu. They seemed to know about Yiwu's plans to sell his item, and felt confident confronting someone they believed to be just a level 3 warrior. Fortunately, a guard arrived just in time to intervene. From his demeanor, it appeared he was looking for Yiwu. The guard firmly grasped the portly man's hand and said, "Let go of him. He's a special guest of Elder Lee and is expected in his private chamber. Do you really want to face the consequences of bothering him?" Upon hearing Elder Lee's name, the mercenaries immediately released Yiwu. Escorted by a guard, Yiwu made his way to Elder Lee's chamber. The mercenaries watched him from a distance. A comment from a portly man suggested that Elder Lee wasn't exactly known for his kindness. By the time Yiwu reached Elder Lee's private chamber, the elder was already inside, awaiting him. "Please, have a seat," Elder Lee gestured. As soon as Yiwu took his seat, Elder Lee got straight to the point without any small talk. "Even though the magic crystal you have is indeed impressive, it's just level 15 after all," Elder Lee said, hinting at a lower price. Hearing this, Yiwu quickly interjected, "So, you're starting with the lowest offer." With a firm tone, Yiwu continued, "Even if I'm only level 3, it doesn't mean I'm naive like a 3-year-old, not knowing the value of things. Give me a fair price, and short on time." Elder Lee chuckled, intriguing. "Your level might be low, but your spirit isn't. If it were just an ordinary magic crystal, its market price would be around 1 or 2,000. But given that yours is a rare type, I'll offer you 100,000, he said, lifting his index finger for emphasis. Upon hearing the offer, Yiwu swiftly rose from his seat, a clear sign of his disagreement. With a firm tone, he said, "Elder Lee, I'm aware that even in the black market, this magic crystal is worth at least 200,000. Though it might go for a bit less compared to the auction houses." Politely, yet firmly, Yiwu added, "Perhaps I should look for someone else who can appreciate its value better." However, as Yiwu tried to leave the room, he was taken aback to find 2 guards firmly blocking the door, signaling that leaving wasn't going to be as straightforward as he'd hoped. Elder Lee firmly told Yiwu, "The moment you set foot here, everything falls under our control. Whether you intend to sell or not, if we, the Huangzheng group, want it, no one dares to oppose." Deep in thought, Yiwu was racking his brain for a way out of this increasingly dire situation. The black market was their domain, and they had the power to act without restraint. Perhaps leveraging the Qian account could offer an escape. But that decision wasn't without its perils. Beyond the potential chaos it might ignite, it could also backfire on him. He might end up without a penny, further delaying the much-needed care for his family. Meanwhile, Elder Lee firmly placed 100,000 on the table, offering it to Yiwu. He warned Yiwu that refusing the offer would not only mean losing the money, but also putting his own life in danger. Lost in thought, Yiwu stared at the money on the table. Should I take it? He wondered. Never had he faced a challenge that couldn't be quickly overcome by sheer force. From outside the door, muffled voices argued. Someone was shocked to discover that the Huangzheng group had befriended someone of level 3 stature. It was so embarrassing. Suddenly, the door burst open, revealing a tall figure behind the 2 guards. They turned their heads to look. Upon seeing this, the newcomer was massive, his identity concealed by a mask. With authority, he grabbed the guards by their faces, warning them not to stand in his way. Suddenly, a captivating woman named Miss Mo entered the room, flanked by 2 masked guards who had previously forced their way in. "I heard there's a good thing here, so let this young lady join in on the fun," she asserted. Elder Lee's eyes widened in surprise. "You're Miss Mo from the Hanmo group," he said, his voice filled with disbelief. What are you doing in a place like this? And to think you'd try to snatch the deal right under my nose." Miss Mo shot him a sharp look, retorting, "Don't call it stealing. It's such an ugly word. The rules of the black market are clear. Equal trade, the higher the price. You should know better than to lecture me." Elder Lee fell silent, taken aback by the truth in Miss Mo's words. Ignoring Elder Lee, Miss Mo turned her attention to Yiwu. She seductively placed a hand on his chest and whispered, "I'll buy your magic crystal for 300,000. Sell it to me." Her intentions were clear. She wanted to secure the deal for herself, right from under Elder Lee. Yiwu was taken aback by the sudden offer. "What?" he exclaimed in surprise. Elder Lee stood up from his seat, raising an eyebrow as Miss Mo offered a sum of 300,000, especially since Yiwu had previously asked for just 200,000. "What do you mean by that?" he asked, clearly puzzled. Miss Mo, radiating an elegance befitting royalty, was known for her enormous fortune. An extra 100,000 was a mere drop in the bucket for her. "I'm not like your Huangzhen group," she remarked pointedly, "which dares to snatch items from kids as young as level 3. Feeling somewhat defeated, Elder Lee decided to abandon his quest for the rare level 15 magic crystal. As he began to leave, escorted by his guards, Miss Mo, wearing a sly grin, subtly signaled for him to slow down. "Next time," she teased with a playful smile, "if something catches your eye, remember to give me a call." Meanwhile, Yiwu had been hearing whispers about the rising tensions between the Hanmo group and the Huangzhen group in the 9th Security Zone. He never imagined he'd benefit from this situation. With genuine gratitude, Yiwu thanked Miss Mo for buying the magic crystal from him. Not wanting to miss an opportunity, he quickly tried to show her some other products he had. But Miss Mo promptly declined, showing no interest. Miss Mo then told Yiwu, "You don't need to thank me. I just took this opportunity to overshadow and insult Elder Lee. Besides, your business concerns have nothing to do with me. You just happen to be in my presence." Before leaving the room, she instructed her guard, "Give that boy some money. As for the matter of the magic crystal, handle it as you see fit. If you want to dispose of it, that's fine too." The guard nodded in acknowledgement. "Understood, miss," he responded, following her orders. Once Miss Mo had left, Yiwu pondered on their first encounter. Such an arrogant lady, he thought, utterly fascinated by Miss Mo's pronounced sense of pride. The scene then shifted to a quiet hospital room where Yiwu's father had been lying frail. As the doctor meticulously examined him, Yiwu's mother, with eyes filled with concern, asked, "How long does my husband need to be treated?" The doctor, with a sympathetic expression, sighed and admitted that given the situation at that time, it was hard to determine. Suddenly, a portly man burst into the room, slamming the door open so hard that everyone inside couldn't help but turn their heads in his direction. He was the hospital director, and the veins on his bald head were visibly pulsating, a clear sign of his suppressed rage. Pointing towards a patient, he yelled, "I just found out we have a patient here who's still getting medical care, but hasn't settled their bill." The treating doctor, looking visibly pale under the pressure, tried to calmly explain the situation. "They've paid for the emergency room services, but it's true they haven't yet covered the ongoing room and treatment costs," the doctor said. Hearing this only stoked the director's fury further. Trembling with emotion, he clenched the front of the doctor's coat and shouted, "This isn't a charity. Our treatments and medications are expensive. We can't just give them away to people who can't pay." Despite his pale complexion, the doctor replied, "The son in the patient's family is in the process of gathering the needed money. Can we give them just a little more time?" This seemed to make the veins on the director's head even more prominent, signaling that his patience was wearing thin. With his temper flaring, the director suddenly slapped the doctor, exclaiming, "Are you out of your mind? Yiwu, a mere level 3 warrior and still just a kid, how could he possibly secure such a sum?" The doctor staggered, shaken from the director's slap. The director, voice dripping with contempt, approached the critically ill father and said, "The medication he needs is prohibitively expensive. Your father's life isn't worth that much. Even selling him wouldn't cover the costs." As the director tried to disconnect the father's life support, Yunfei swiftly intervened. She tightly gripped the director's hand, pleading with him to wait, as her brother Yiwu would return soon with the money. But the director scoffed, responding cynically, "If you can't afford it, then there's no more treatment." Yunfei persisted, determined to prevent the director from disconnecting the life support. Irritated, the director barked at Yunfei, "Get out of my way." He lashed out, striking Yunfei across the face, causing her to stumble back. Just as the situation seemed dire, the hospital room door was kicked open with force. Yiwu stood there, his face etched with fury, commanding, "Stop." The director, already angered by the unpaid hospital bills, became even more incensed when he saw the damaged door. He quickly confronted Yiwu, clenching his shirt, and exclaimed, "Who do you think you are? Because of you, I'm losing even more money now." At this point, Yiwu's patience had reached its end, especially because the director had dared to harm his family, something he held most dear. Flames of energy began to emanate from him. His eyes glowed a fiery red, and his body radiated heat. The director, who was still clutching Yiwu's shirt, started to feel the burn from the emitted flames. Looking at the director intently, Yiwu sternly asked, "Did you just use this hand to harm my family?"